So, how do you come across as more coherent, more fluent in a second language? Well, don't we all know that situation where you've learned the language for a number of years and now you have to speak to a native speaker of that language and you're slightly lost? They start speaking to you and you want to respond, but you don't quite know the right words to say, or you need a little bit of extra time to think. And you don't really have that in that situation. There's this awkward pause, or you're saying a lot. What can you do? Well, there's help at hand, and that help is called discourse markers. And they're these short little words like yeah or right, but also longer expressions like in my opinion or you know. And these can really help you to get your conversation more fluent, to make you come across as more coherent. Okay, how can you learn these little words? Could you just have a list of them and then learn them like that? Well, chances are that when you're in context, when you're in that situation where you have to use those words, you won't remember them. So a good way to learn them is to just be aware of them. So maybe make a list of a few of those expressions and listen out for them when other people speak. And a really good way is listen out for them when other learners speak. Other learners who are slightly better than yourself. I found that really useful when I was learning languages, because the other learners don't use very complex vocabulary, but rather they use some expressions that help their conversation move along, and you go, oh, that expression is really useful. Let me copy that. And once you've realized these expressions exist in other learners, you can pick them out in when natives are speaking, and you learn them gradually. And then you learn expressions like, well, in my opinion, let me think. And these are expressions that can buy you extra time, because when you're just saying them, you will have a little bit more time to think as to what you want to say next. There are also these expressions that can help you give feedback to the person you're speaking to, such as, yeah, right, yeah, you've got a point there. And then finally, this last resort of asking the person that you're speaking with to speak themselves, such as, right, or what do you think? So then passing it on to the other person again, for the other person to speak for a bit until you have collected your thoughts, you've put all the vocabulary in place, and you're ready to come into the conversation again. So these discourse markers can be really useful. And when you pick them up in context very slowly, you start to be able to use them yourself. So listening out for them, listening out for other people using them, and then eventually using them yourself. And my own research has shown that having as few as 10 of these expressions can already be enough in order to come across as relatively coherent in a second language. So there's not that many you have to learn. You can just have a few favorites. Try it out next time you're speaking another language and see how it's going. I wish you all the best of luck.